We are blessed today, this meeting, to enlighten us with this primordial and existential problem of our nation. We have in our presence one of the guys whom I thought would be the first Secretary of the Department of Water, but at this point he is still the Administrator of National Irrigation Administration. So now may I recognize Congressman Wilter Palma.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm yielding my time to Madam Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. After that, I'll follow. Ma'am? Wave ka rin? Okay. May I proceed, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please do.
I was listening kanina sa presentation ni Administrator Gillian regarding the cooperatives. It's very, very good program. But the question that lies behind that is, paano natin ma-fundingan yung mga farmers? Kasi yung pinaka-importante ngayon is the credit facilities of our farmers from the day one until it's being harvested. You know, ang concern ko, yung credit facilities ng farmers so that middlemen will not be able to interfere in the kasi with all due respect, silang kumikita ng malaki, Mr. Chair. So, may I ask, Mr. Chair, paano ba yung matulungan yung farmers through credit facilities na, well, the cooperative is there, pero mas siguro, mas importante yung credit facilities na pwede nating maitulong sa mga farmers natin.
You want to answer that from NIA or from DA?
From NIA and from the DA.
Okay, then okay. We'll give the first crack to Administrator Gillian, and then of course Yusek Asis.
Yes, sir. Yes, Apo Congressman. Actually, okay, with regards po dito sa pag-form po natin ng cooperative ng ating mga farmers, actually katulong po namin dito yung CDA. And of course, hiningi rin po natin ang tulong dito ng local government units. So ang inuna po ng NIA na mag-form ng cooperatives ay kung saan yung mga local chief executives ay open dito sa idea. Kasi, bilang dating former mayor, alam ko po kasi na may mga missing link, may mga gaps doon sa pag-form po ng cooperatives. Like, for example, bibigyan ko lang po kayo ng halimbawa. Pag nag-form ka ng cooperative, kailangan mo po dyan, of course, yung sa pag-organize. Kayang-kaya po ng munisipyo ito eh. At kapag nandun na yung cooperative, yung capacity building, yun po yung mahirap dyan. Kasi ang CDA, minsan noong ako po ay mayor, kinakantsawan ko sila eh. Sabi ko, dapat palitan nyo ng pangalan kasi ang CDA lang, ang nakukuha lang namin noon was registration and regulation. Wala po yung development. And noong ako po ay mag-hire ng co-op manager namin, nahirapan din po ako. Na-realize ko na wala pala tayo kasing wala tayong course ng cooperative development and management sa ating mga eskwelahan. So, ang kailangan mo dyan sa LGU, sa akin po noon, nag-form ako ng public-private partnership with the co-op para po nag-form din ako ng Municipal Economic Enterprise Management Office namin para kami nag-hire ng former manager ng bangko, former manager ng co-op to oversee yung formation ng aming cooperative. So marami pong factors eh. Yun na lang lote na pagtatayuan ng mga buildings. Yung dati nung mayor po ako, kailangan pa ng mga ng share ng co-op pagbibigyan mo ng farm machineries. But anyway, pagdating po sa pautang sa ating mga farmers, yan po ang reason kung bakit kami nag-form ng cooperative, knowing na kung may pera ang cooperative, sila po ang magpapautang sa ating mga farmers. And I'm sure Land Bank merong murang pautang sa mga cooperatives, ang DA may programa po dyan. Mahirap po kasi yung mga bangko na magpautang sa individual dahil matrabaho po na singilin nila yon eh. So ang ginawa ko po sa aking munisipyo, of course yung at ginaid ko yung ating cooperative at mga IAs. Kaya po, napakaganda pong i-form yung ating mga irrigators association into cooperatives kasi nandun na trained na po sila as na cooperative Nilalakihan mo lang para magkaroon ng economies of scale production. Modesty aside, yun pong ginawa namin noon sa bayan namin ay pinag-aralan po ng University of the Philippines, UPCIDS. Naglabas nga po sila ng policy blog. Sabi nila, yung PDQ Ilocos Norte Model for Resilient Agri-Institutions. So, itong ibang cooperatives, IAs po kasi, panahon pa ng Kastila yan Katulad po sa amin, San Hera de Sociedad, mga ganun pa yung mga pangalan So, kung alam lamang po natin na i-capture, alam natin i-maximize yung pagsasamahan na ng ating mga irrigators association and then we form them as a cooperatives. Kasi ang IAs po is non-profit organization yan hindi po sila, wala po silang resibo pag nakipag-deal ka sa kanila. So yun po ang kagandahan pag cooperative na sila, yan, nakakapag-negosyo na po sila, sir. At may economies of scale production. Yeah, I think ang pag-form ng cooperative po ay solusyon din sa pagpapautang na sinasabi nyo kanina. Kasi kung meron silang, ang idea po kasi dyan is gawin mo silang isang service
Magkano?
ano ba yung tawag doon?
Default risk.
Yung meron silang, ang gagawin mo kasi dyan is kumpleto po sila. May pautang, may parental ng equipments, may gilingan. So, para po may sustainability. At ang naisip po namin noon, kasi ang lagi pong tanong dyan, meron bang sustainability pagka-co-ops? Sa akin po meron, dahil meron silang sariling board of directors, na kung yung mayor ayaw nang tumulong doon sa cooperatives, nakakatayo pa rin sila sa sarili nilang paa. So we just need to empower them. Ang pag-form ng cooperative sa akin is a form of empowerment po sa ating mga magsasaka. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, before
Yes.
the DA, very good yung concept, Administrator Gillian, As a matter of fact, when I was still in the local government unit, yun din yung programa ko. Nagpautang kami ng 20,000 pesos per hectare per farmer at zero interest. Ngayon, how do you, through the cooperative, okay? So paano yung services na na-render ng cooperative? Ang ginawa ko, I requested the cooperative as well as the farmers na yung inputs nila, bibilhin nila from the cooperative. Organic fertilizer and organic pesticides. Doon sila kikita yung cooperative. Okay? The rate, I started with the first year, I started with 6 million, and then I increased to 15, 20, hanggang 30. And after that, I left. And it was the yield, the payment, the return of investment or yung anong tawag yung the payment is more or less 95%. Nagkaroon na kami ng problema yung nagkaroon ng drought, Kasi kulang yung irrigation natin, yung supply ng water, that's in Zamboanga, Sibugay. So I started that and I'm so happy that Administrator Gillian is pushing that. So may suggestion siguro, per municipality, mag-create tayo ng cooperative, focus on the rice farming and high value crops. Now, Mr. Chair, if we can also ask the counterpart, probably the Land Bank or DBP, kasi out of their mandate, parang 30% ata is allocated for agriculture, kasama ng pautang. So with the help of this committee, and we can push for that. And that's a very good approach in order for to help our farmers in the production of rice as well as the high value crops. So I'm very happy, Mr. Chair, with that scheme that NIA is pushing for in order to help our farmers.
Thank you. VG Asis? No, VG Albano. You said there's only 12,000 primary IAs.
Yes, sir.
So that means on the average, they have 1,700 hectares.
Per IA. But depending upon the size of the system, sir. Because
170 pala. Tama ba ang calculation ko? 1.7 million hectares divided by 11,000. Ilan ba yan?
yes, the land holding now as at present is 1 hectare per farmer, sir.
Kaya nga, pero ilan? So, Gillian, ano ba yung mga farmers natin? Are they under-organized, over-organized, or what?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually po, ang Irrigators Association ng under NIA, napakaganda po ng organization nila.
Ilan sila?
Around
11,000.
ang members, sir?
No. How many are they?
Ang regional IAs are 17 po lahat. Ang organized IA, 17 regionals po. May dalawa kasi sila na kuha itong UPRIS at
Oh,
Maris.
yeah, MRIS. Tapos,
Opo. So, as of January last year, ang data po namin, nasa 1.3 million yung membership po ng IAs under NIA.
pero ilang IAs ba talaga?
Ilang IAs? 11,800 individual IAs po.
So parehas, nag-uusap kayong dalawa. Pero alam mo, when I was governor, yung secret of success ng mga IAs ko is the IDOs.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, that's the best well-kept secret of good IAs. In fact, most of my leaders are your IDOs. They are well-trained cadre. Most of them, I think, are in fact NDFs. Anyway, so we have further
Mr. Chair,
questions. Sir?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if I may add, ang NIA po kasi kapag nag-construct ng irrigation facility, kasabay po yan yung pagbuo namin ng IAs na kasama namin mag-maintain and mag-operate ng irrigation facility. Kaya hindi lamang po yung construction ang ginagawa ng NIA, but also yung pag-organize ng farmers para pag natapos namin yung project, ita-turn over namin sa kanila. Kasama po namin sila sa maintenance and operation.
Can you submit to this committee your IDO development program?
Yeah, yung meron po kasi Institutional Development Division ang NIA where the
I know.
IDOs are ano po.
They are your best well-kept secret, and I think
Yes,
that's-
opo.
So, pero wala ako nakita sa presentation yun na your IDOs are your crown jewels.
Actually, sila po yung aming talagang sa groundwork, especially po nitong contract farming namin, mga IDOs po
Pasubmit
talaga.
na lang po para we don't have to, because may question pa yata si, Yes, sir? You have questions?
Mr. Chair, during
Can
the last...
I ask Asis what
Before the Yusek Asis Perez, during the last Quadcom hearing, I requested the Department of Agriculture, ano bang pwedeng credit facilities na may program natin para makatulong tayo sa farmers. And one of these is this cooperative na na-mention ni Administrator Gillian. So, can you further, ano bang request ko na sabi ko, pwede ba natin itap yung League of Provinces, League of Municipalities, League of Cities na makatulong to facilitate and fast track because, kung idaan natin sa banks and individual yung magpupunta ng banks, I don't think it will succeed because hanapan pa lang ng two valid government IDs, wala na, hindi na makapag-produce. So, cooperative is one of the solution there. So, may therefore ask, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
ano bang update ng request ko?
Sa tingin ko, policy na yata dapat ng DA yan. Ano ba ang posture nyo with respect to agricultural cooperatives? Yes.
Mr. Chair, I agree with both Administrator Gillian and of course...
May ginagawa ba kayo for them?
Sir, may attempt po kami to bring back and institutionalize again the institutional development officers in the A. Because we understand that this is a key component
Oo nga.
for a successful cooperative-based program that involves lending and clustering. Unfortunately, if you're aware that the Bureau of Agricultural Cooperatives was taken out of the A. Nawala po yun eh. But ang attempt namin right now is to put together...
Sino tumanggal?
Nung nag-CDA po eh, natanggal po sa amin yung Bureau of Agricultural Cooperatives. Kasi
Kaya mag-created ang CDA?
nawala po yun sa Department of Agriculture. But conceptually correct, but operationally, we need people to be able to implement those programs. Kasi kailangan ho noon talagang ground presence.
Pero DA sits in the board of Land Bank?
We sit at the board of Land Bank. I'm the alternate chair of the secretary.
Does the NIA sit in the board of Land Bank? Huh? 1990 pala, this Mitra time pa, nung tinanggal sa inyo yung cooperative.
Yes, sir.
One of the largest bank of Thailand is the Bank of Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives. It provides almost $41 billion of loans, and the only intervention of the government is a 1% default risk premium. And NPL is only 7.5%. So I don't know whether we should follow the same track, because that is the secret why the whole value chain from, including the one town, one product. In fact, it's one village, one product is being financed through this entire So, sa tingin ko, agriculture is one of the most well-deprived, it's very deprived of credit, I think. So it's been relying on government alone. But if it subject it to the discipline of the market forces, I think, anyway, I'm not supposed to answer your question.
Yeah.
Do you have further questions, sir?
What is the development as far as the LMP, LPP, and the League of City Mayors? Did you start coordinating with each other na? Para we can also ask the help of Director Gillian para we can fast track that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may respond. During the time of the meeting, the representative of the League of Province was present, and we started our coordination since then. You just want to inform the Chair as well that we have printed both the programs of Land Bank and DBP right now. Yun pong Agrisenso ng Land Bank at saka po yung Agri-Puhunan Pantawid ng DBP, which will be submitting to the floor, to the Secretariat for consideration of the members. Medyo lengthy po kasi mahaba po siya. So we'll be submitting that, and we agree that these programs are bank-based programs, nakabase po sa programa ng bangko. But the way that this should be developed further is to really institutionalize yung sinasabi nating institutional development officer, na key po yun sa tingin namin. And yun po ang tutok namin ngayon. On a ad hoc capacity, the department has initiated the creation of a unit to somehow mimic this cooperative development officers that we have before, para po dun sa clustering, and then of course capacity building po ng mga kooperatiba. Because sad to say, we don't have them right now, and even pagdating po dun sa development ng kooperatiba, ito po ay mandato ng Cooperative Development Authority. But we are now doing coordination with them, although hindi pa po ito laganap.
In that case, Mr. Chair, we can ask the help of Director Gillian and of course the CDA, Cooperative Development Authority, kasi kailangan din yung concerted efforts ng players as far as rice and high-value crop is concerned. So, Director Gillian, are we willing to, or are you willing to help the DA as well as the CDA? I-request na lang natin yung CDA to help in the formulation of this policy para we can call up Land Bank as well as DBP to fast track this. Kasi pag walang credit facilities, useless pa rin ang pinag-usapan natin. Kasi even to start in the day one of the rice production, kailangan na ng pera. So, yeah.
Sir, Mr. Chair, actually, tama po kayo, Congressman Palma. Actually, yung capitalization ng co-op angki dyan. Kaya nung binuo ko po yung co-op namin, ako po yung mayor, ang una ko pong in-access, sabi ko yung, wala tayong kapital eh. Hindi ko naman basta pwedeng bigyan ng kapital yung co-op. Ang una ko pong in-access dyan, nilakad ko po yung sa AGFP. Yung, alam ko may Agricultural Guarantee Fund pool eh. Talagang nangungulit po ako doon sa Land Bank na i-access namin ng AGFP. But to no avail. Hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit hindi ko ma-access. So, ang sumunod ko po na option is that, okay, kung ayaw niyong pautangan yung aking cooperative, pwede ko ba na magamit yung aking 20% sa LGU as guarantee ng pautang? Kasi at least kung magamit ko yung 20% ko as guarantee, hindi pa rin kami magpapalabas ng pera. At malakas po ang loob ko, sir, na magpautang sa ating mga cooperative na ang members, ang IAs, kasi alam ko na ang repayment niyan ay 99.9%. Kasi po, kapag ang nag-guarantee ay IA, sila po ang may rights doon sa water rights eh. Hindi pwedeng hindi magbayad yung member. Kasi, in fact, yung IA mismo, may pera na siya para bayaran yung utang. Ang kilamang dyan, paano mo mapautangan yung co-op? So, kailangan mong i-involve talaga ang LGU. Itap mo lang yung 20% ng LGU as guarantee. Payagan lamang natin. Solve ang problema natin. Kasi masama pong magpautang ang gobyerno. Ang isip ng tao, dole out. Pero kung bangko, magbabayad. So, ang sistema dapat dyan, bangko, cooperative, para ang sinisigil ni bangko yung co-op, kakaunti yung si co-op, ang sinisigil niya, si IA. Si IA ang maningil sa individual farmer. Pag ganun po, ay takbo negosyo tayo. Napakadali po sana yun. Pero napakahirap kausap ang land bank. Hindi ko po na-access ang land bank eh. So, hindi ko maintindihan kung gusto ba talagang magpautang o hindi. May AGFP tayo. Hindi ko lang alam kung ano nangyari sa AGFP. Yung mayor, gusto rin tumulong dyan. Wala ka pang capitalization kung yung 20% ang i-access mo. Underuse yung 20% ng LGUs eh. Kukonti ang LGU na may utang. Dito mo pa utangan ngayon. Di ba? So,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, last question.
Yeah, last question. Since we are on a Christmas break, siguro may just request this committee na i-request yung Land Bank, DBP, isali natin sa ano bang tawag natin dyan, to be headed by the Department of Agriculture. Kung hindi sila pwede mag-request, then direct them para to compel them. Kasi yung sabi ni Admin Gillian, mahirap ang kausapin yung Land Bank eh.
Comsec, you're instructed to invite DBP, Land Bank, and the BSP, the regulatory arm, with respect to compliance to the new law, the AFRD.
Secretariat will comply, Chair.
Thank you. Now may call on Congressman Cruz. Well, we have a lot of farmers, of course.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I share the sentiment of Congressman Wilter Palma. Pareho din ako kasi mayor din ako dati for 18 years. So, doon sa amin, ang ginawa ko, yung mga nag-consolidate ako ng 100 hektarya, binigyan ko ng lahat ng inputs kasi nga parating pinoproblema, inuutang, tapos halos 5-6 ang interest. So binigyan ko lahat ng inputs. Ang nagiging problema nito, nung ani na, ayaw magbayad kasi galing nga sa gobyerno. So I think ang kailangan natin dito is basically discipline. Kailangan talaga, ang Pilipino binabantayan. Merong nagbabaston. So napaganda, very laudable to kasi patagal ko na ho itong advocacy. Dahil totoo, yung land reform, yun ho nakasira actually. Hindi ko alam kung nakatulong ito sa ating magsasaka. Pero nahati ang lupa natin dito, mga 1 hectare to 2 hectares. So we lost the economies of scale. Yun ang problema. Now with the cooperative that we have, tapos meron pa tayong concept ng contract farming, probably this will solve lahat ng problema natin dito sa ating sa agrikultura. Kasi problema natin, parating minamention yung cooperative, yung successes ng Korea, ng Vietnam, ng Thailand, basically cooperative ito. Production cost nila is about ranging from 8 to 9 pesos per kilo, whereas sa atin, we're ranging from almost 14 to 16 pesos per kilo ng palay. Kaya kailangan ibenta natin yung palay natin ng 20 to 25. Pag binenta natin ng 25 yan, sigurado, 50 pesos talaga yung ating bigas. So ang kailangan is to lower the cost of production. Itong RTL natin, ito napakagandang ginawa natin. Ang mahalaga lamang dito, yung farm mechanization, irrigation, which is yung project ninyo, and of course, yung better seeds. At saka marami pang inputs, kasama na yung training. Pero ang mahalaga, mabuo muna yung kooperatiba. So tama si Kong Wilter, ang kailangan ma-involve dito yung LGU. Kasi kailangan, yung kooperatiba, sa totoo lang, kailangan din binabantayan. At ang magbabantay dito yung LGU. But ang mahalaga rito yung roadmap natin for the entire country. By region siguro, identify na natin. Ano ba yung irrigation na 1.2 million yung ating project? Saan region ito? Para naka-involve lahat ang LGU. At yung regional director nyo, dapat naka-target base tayo eh. Halimbawa, ito ba yung target na sa irrigation? Ito yung target sa mechanization. Kasi nakakatuwa yung solar nyo, pero marami nagre-reklamo. Hindi raw nabigay doon sa right person. Kasi marami kaming naririnig na problemang ganon. So apparently, hindi tayo talaga organized. So mas mahalaga, organize natin ito by region, target base natin ito, at siguro mas maganda mag-launch kayo ng contest. Mahilig din lang ang Pilipino sa contest. So ibig sabihin, ito yung target mo, ito yung performance mo. Pagka, yun ang bigyan natin ng parangal taon-taon. Para yung lahat ng mga high-performing regions and high-performing LGUs will be rewarded and recognized. Hindi, ang mahalaga rito, talagang yung contest itself, kailangan pinakita natin yung contest at saka talagang maganda yung premyo para at the end of the day, they will be recognized. Pero ang maliwanag ko rito, by region, maliwanag yung target. Ilan ang dapat ma-irrigate doon sa 1.2 million? Saan pupunta yung project na to? Kasi pinagkakagulan yan. Saan ba mapupunta yung project na yan? Marami rin nakikialam. But at the end of the day, it should be identified. So, siguro, yun ang kailangan natin, yung the entire roadmap para dito sa creation ng cooperative. And of course, the new concept of contract farming, which is, nakita ko rito, napakagandang, very applicable. Yun lang, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, short interjection. Balikan ko lang yung statement kanina ni Administrator Gillian. Classmate, magandang umaga po. So, classmate kami sa Masteral. Anyway, I think wag na tayo lumayo. We learned from the Thailand model. So, they put so much money on irrigation. And number two, government of Thailand, during the time of Thaksin, binuhusan nila yung credit institutions nila, no? And they have been very successful. So ang problema sa atin, walang access to credit ang ating mga farmers. And since it is not even allowed to use land for collateral, mas lalong nahirapan yung mga farmers natin. And it's a fact that landowners do not necessarily till the land. Pinaparkilahan nila yon. So yung mga lessees ng lupa, they don't own land. So pero may solusyon yan eh. Hindi mo naman kailangan may collateral pag umutang ka sa bangko, because this could be guaranteed by TRs or trust receipts. And that is the model in Thailand. Kasi ang TR, may wala ano yan apart from civil liability, may criminal liability pag hindi ka magbayad no? So all you need to do is educate the farmers, no, na pag hindi ka magbayad, estafa ka. No, kasi wala kang collateral So unless government would institutionalize access to credit, walang mangyari sa mga pobre nating mga farmers. So of course, government's initiative would include really, irrigating land. Yun nga sinabi ni Secretary Tio Laurel na nandito siya, that perhaps with the budget given by government to NIA, sa inyo po, Administrator, it would take 10 years for us to irrigate, the land that are eligible or qualified for irrigation. But siguro makinig naman ng Presidente sa atin that if we could shorten that gestation, we could attain the ideal production or yield, which is 8 tons per hectare. Unless na, ma-attain natin yung 3 croppings, it would be very impossible for us to reach the ideal cost, production cost of 8 pesos per kilo. So, yun lang, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. May I recognize the former president?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congressman Biron mentioned one of the problems, which is that the farmers cannot, the beneficiaries of land reform cannot use their land for collateral. Since I was president, I was always working for this bill. In fact, when I was president, it already reached the bicameral conference committee. But my then Secretary of DAR, Rene Villa, who later became one of the highest 10, said that DAR is not pushing for it. So it kind of, there were other priorities in the legislative calendar, so it didn't, it stopped there. So when I became a congresswoman, I filed the bill again. The DAR Secretary De Los Reyes again opposed it in the committee hearing, so it did not pass again. But you see, now many years after, it's still a problem. So since since all our inquiries are supposed to be inquiries in aid of legislation, I think this discussion again shows that that kind of legislation is really important. So can we request that when this committee gives its committee report, it will include a committee bill to reintroduce the legislation that we've been working for all these decades. Thank you.
Thank you. Siyempre,
I also want to thank you as chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means because of your respect for inquiries in aid of legislation. Because I remember that I filed a resolution to inquire on why the Clark exporters, the Clark allocators were not, by the IRR, had a removal of their incentives. After which you worked on the Create More, which is the legislation resulting from that inquiry. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for your record of really bringing inquiries to legislation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chair.
Yes,
Very short interjection in relation to the statement of former President. Hindi lang na magkaroon ng credit access, using the land as collateral, but we have to make sure that the credit facility is affordable. Kasi ang problema ngayon sa land bank, ang spread ng land bank is much higher than the spread of commercial banks. So instead na buhayin yung farmers, pinapatay ni land bank at ni DBP ang mga farmers kung meron man silang pagkakataon na to access credit. Pero sa ngayon, talagang problema natin because hindi siya na-institutionalized despite credit being included in the charter of these government credit institutions. Talagang walang access, practically walang access. In Thailand, the cost of borrowing for farmers, exclusively for farmers, is less than 3%. Yusek Asis, namamatay yung mga farmers natin because what? What is the borrowing rate of Land Bank right now? It's 8.9%. Whereas commercial and universal banks like BDO will only lend you at a rate of 5.5%. So anong tulong ng gobyerno sa mga farmers? Wala. Pinapatay ng Land Bank at DBP yung mga farmers natin and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now may I recognize the Star of Congress, Estela Kimbo. May I recognize Asis? Okay lang sa'yo? Yes.
For the information of the chair and the
Yes,
members of
please.
the body, to be fair with Land Bank and APP, the new programs that they have with us, yun pong bago lang ito, Mr. Chair, no? Yun pong sa agri-puhunan natin is 2% for DBP per annum po, at yun po namang sa Land Bank ay 4% po.
Ilan?
4% po.
For eligible borrowers.
Pwede pong basahin namin yung programa. Medyo mahaba po siya, but...
Okay lang, basahin nyo na.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Chair. For the agri-puhunan, ito po yung pinaka parang proof of concept or pilot project ni Secretary with DBP, PCIC, NIA as IA's cooperatives po yung prioritize dito. It's a 50,000 hectare project worth 3 billion. They call it Agri-Puhunan at Pantawid Program. It's a 60,000 credit to beneficiaries that are RSBSA registered and members of DA accredited cooperatives. So 60,000 per farmer per hectare. Portion of this is for inputs, 28,000, maximum of 28,000 pesos per hectare. Kasi katulad po ng sinabi kanina na isang way to reduce yung production cost is increasing yield. Ang nakita po kasi namin na talagang problema ng mga farmers on the average, hindi makabili ng inputs. Aside doon sa binibigay ng DA na isang bag ng seeds o binhi at 2 bags ng fertilizer, the rest hindi na nagdadagdag ng additional inputs to meet yung maximum yield na kaya ng isang binhi, which we think ang kulang nila is yung kapital. So that's why na-conceptualize po itong programa. It's yung 28,000 is for inputs. Yung 32,000 is an 8,000 per month na pantawid as part of the credit na 4 months ibibigay doon sa mga farmer beneficiaries kung habang naghihintay ng kanilang ani. And assured po to ng benta kasi kasama po namin dito ang NFA. I think they will sell it to NFA at 21 pesos fresh at a maximum of 5 metric tons per hectare. So, kung tutusin, kung 2% per annum siya sa isang cropping which is 4 months, parang 1% lang siya, kung 60,000, 600 pesos lang yung interest na babayaran ng farmer.
Okay lang ba sa'yo? Gillian, paras lang ba kayo?
Yes.
Are you on the same page or is it the same program?
Yes po.
Yeah, part po, actually po, Sir Chair, is ang beneficiaries sa mga IAs
Or
natin.
are they competing packages?
No. Yeah po.
Okay, thank you. And then Kimbo na.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yusek, you're talking the pilot project covers only 50,000 hectares. That will not make any dent at
Yes
all.
sir, because ang binigay na budget pa lang ng DPP on this is 3 billion. So it's 60,000 per hectare, maximum of 50,000. But the plan is pag nag-okay siya, is to request for a maximum of 1.2 million farmers ang ma-reach ng program by next year or the 2020s. Kasi talagang
50,000 hectares constitute only what? How many percent of the rice production area.
50 times
Napakaliit.
divided by 2 million. Maliit lang, sir.
Yes, so small. So it doesn't make any dent at all, no,
Yes,
sa
sir.
presyo ng ano natin. And very very vital to the success of this pilot program is the repayment. Ano yung repayment ninyo? Kasi pag iipitin mo yung si farmer, no, na wala siyang comfortable time to make repayment, the program is bound to fail.
Sir, this season pa lang kasi siya nag-start. So, hindi
Pero
pa
ang
na-
program ninyo, what is your repayment scheme? Anong nyo? I mean, you know, lending this, is it per cycle?
Yes, sir. Pagka nakapagbenta na sila with NFA sa Calab.
Babayaran nila agad.
Yes, sir. Through IMC card kasi to, sir. So, automatic na yun. May mawa sila with NFA and DBP. Once mag-sell sila ang cooperative to NFA,
Alright.
automatic na yun na
So kinakaltas na.
Yes, sir.
So meaning to say
Yun yung
NFA.
plan. Yun yung plan, sir.
Okay, so NFA is the collecting agent. So bawas na rin
Through the
yung-
cooperative, sir.
Through the
Yes.
cooperative.
Yes, sir.
Bawas na rin yung interest nila. The
Yes, sir.
cost of
Yung-
borrowing is kaltas doon sa proceeds nila. Ganon
Yes, sir.
ba?
Yes, sir.
Alright, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Guarantee mo against jumping? Leapfrogging.
Ang co-op ang nagagaranti sa
Alam mo,
DBP.
yun naman ang role na nawala nung tinanggal na nagkaroon tayo ng CARP. Yung compradores na magagaling.
Sir, Chairman, kaya nandito yung si Admin G, ang promise ng mga members at promise niya, pag hindi sila nagbayad, wala silang tubig next
Wala
season.
akong tiwala. hindi yan malupit kasi lupit ng mga comprador. Anyway, Kimbo, ikaw na.
Mr. Chair, last Monday, I delivered a privileged speech on Land Bank, and I mentioned that the lending profile of Land Bank has changed considerably in the last 10 years. Noong 2015, ang pinautang sa small fishers and small farmers and fishers or SFF noong 2015 ay 35 billion pesos. Pero ngayon 2024, 1 billion na lang, 1.07 billion na lang ang pinautang sa SFF. So ang laki po ng niliit ng credit available to the mandated sector. So, ang sa tingin ko, it's not really sa terms, kundi sa priorities ng bangko. So, tingin ko talagang it's about time na ipatawag natin ang GFIs na to. At sa tingin ko, Mr. Chair, dapat po ang head of agencies ang ipatawag natin. Ang PCEOs ng mga GFIs na to ang ipatawag po natin. Dahil sila lang naman po ang makakapag-explain kung bakit po na iba na ang priority ng mga GFIs.
Para lang for our common enlightenment, can you put this up? Nabibigla ako dahil ang alam ko pinakamahirap Fisher Fox. Ang lumalabas ngayon, farmers are the poorest sector of society. So, something's really very wrong after all the experiments we made. No, this is from the FIES. So, kasi ibabalanse namin kung pamumurahin yung presyo, tapos dati na silang mahirap, saan tayo babalanse? Gobyerno ang subsidy. I don't know where we will strike the balance and how do we fund it. Okay na ba? I just want to show sometimes kasi it's I thought that farmers are not the poorest sector of society. They are. And that means DA is not doing his job. Yes, sir. That is the collateral consequence of the Family and Income Expenditure Survey. And their sample base now is 84,000. So wala talagang nangyari after all these years.
Chair,
Yes,
while
you can continue.
Si Yusek Perez, I believe, sits on the board of Land Bank. Maybe he can comment on my observation.
I'm the alternate representative to Land Bank, and I agree with the observation of the Congresswoman that there's the records would clearly indicate the apparent shift in the lending, percentage from those periods. And I think I also agree that since I'm new there, it's better for Land Bank to explain this in a session, Madam Chair.
Farmers, 40.8%. So, ano lang, halos farmers and fisher folks. So, something is very wrong.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
a short inquiry to Yusek Asis. Since you're the alternate representative in the board of Land Bank, alam niyo naman kung ano yung allocation of the loans provided. Ano ba ang primary what is the priority of Land Bank? Ano ang mga industriya ngayon ang focus nila na nagpapahiram sila ng pera? Because I understand that Land Bank has shifted. Doon sila gusto magpapautang sa mga manufacturing industries, mga ganon eh. Iba ng priority ng Land Bank ngayon eh. So can you enlighten us since you sit in the board, Yusek Asis?
Looking at the numbers and kind of loans that is being approved at the level of the board, I don't have the figures right now, but on my mind, I can clearly see that there's malaki po yung linya na pumupunta sa mga local governments.
Local, LGUs.
LGUs, marami po ganon na projects na umabot sa amin. Na ina-approve po namin. Kasi every board meeting po, meron pong mga listahan ng mga loans na kailangan namin i-approve. At pag nakita mo,
riskless naman yun eh.
pag nakita mo, marami ho doon mga kumpanya, pero hindi ko po nakikita yung mga loans below certain threshold. Because the threshold of the board is around 300 million and above. So that's the only number that we see during the board meeting. So karamihan po doon ay hindi agriculture related.
Say for this year, 2024, what was the loanable amount that Land Bank has allocated, and how much went to agriculture? Kasi ang problema, si Land Bank mahilig magpapautang yan sa LGU eh. Kasi naka-guarantee yung IRA ng di ba? So wala silang problema doon sa collection. They don't have problems with non-performing loans. Sigurista si Land Bank eh. Doon siya magpapautang kay LGU kasi sigurado siya na babayaran siya. So ayaw magpautang sa farmers kasi nagdi-default ang farmers. So but that should not be the policy of government, Yusek.
I'll be able to provide the numbers during the next
I'll
hearing.
provide you the numbers.
But not today.
The loan
Mr. Chair, I don't
portfolio
have
of
it.
Land Bank for small farmers is 39 billion. For small fisher folks is 698 million.70. You only lend 698 million to small fisher folks and 39 billion for farmers.
Mr. Chair, do you have an allocation for health facilities? Kasi yun ang pinapa-enlighten ko sa Land Bank eh. Alam niyo bakit nagka-problema tayo?
Malaki, 32 billion.
32 billion. Kasi after pandemic, nagkakaproblema. Ayaw na ni Land Bank magpautang sa mga ospital kasi maraming nalugi na mga hospital also during pandemic. So, but that should not deter them from lending and supporting projects on health facilities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyway, for the information of everyone, their biggest exposure is to utilities, apparently Meralco. And of course, after that would be housing at 127 billion. We'll give copies to everyone. So, Kiboy, you're not
proceed?
yet room?
Yes. Mr. Chair, isa po ako sa sumusubaybay sa contract farming kasi katulad ni kong birthday boy, sa tingin ko baka...
Birthday ba niya?
Yes.
Ba't walang cake?
Baka sakaling ito ang ating golden parachute sa murang bigas. So, ang gusto kong mas lalo pang maintindihan kung paano ba natin ito magiging sustainable. So, ano po ang budget natin for 2024? Can you remind us, Admin Gillian?
For 2024, ma'am, is 3.4 billion pesos. Yan po yung, kasi, ano
And
lang po,
was it fully implemented po?
yes, ma'am. Fully implemented.
For how many co-ops lang, no? Ang beneficiaries?
Ang ginawa po namin, ma'am, is hindi naman po sa co-ops, kundi sa mga IAs po natin mismo.
IAs. Okay, how many IAs?
Well, in-spread po namin ito sa buong regions, ma'am. Hindi kasi pare-parehas dahil ito ay pilot project natin. Kinuha muna namin kung sino yung willing muna kasi mahirap ipilit eh. Kung sino yung willing na kumuha nung contract farming, doon po namin
Yes, sige. So for this pilot phase, ilan po ang naging IA beneficiaries natin?
It was 40,000 IAs, 40,000 hectares eh. So around 40,000 IAs po.
So in short, tama po ba na sabihin that you entered into 40,000 contracts?
Per IA po. So hindi po 40,000 contracts. Ang isang area po kasi ay may irrigators associations po yan eh. So nakipagkontrata lamang po kami doon sa federated nila.
Yes, okay. So to make things simple, kasi di ba, tama po ba, how it works is you enter into a contract, a forward contract basically. So ibig sabihin, nini-negotiate ninyo sa isang grupo kung ano ang magiging presyo sa harvest.
Yes po.
And then, bibili kayo. Sasabihin niyo, sige for this price, bibili kami ng ganitong amount. And then, siguro sasabihin niyo 2 gives. Ganun po ba?
Well, ang una po is that ang unang ibibigay namin is yung para sa input muna nila.
Yes, I mean, basically parang ganon. I mean, may tranches, right? Ilan tranches? 2 tranches, right? So parang, but basically, yun ang ginagawa ninyo. You negotiate the price and then you tell them the quantity.
Yes po.
So, in short, may contracts.
May contract po.
Okay, so how many contracts for the 3.4 billion?
650 IAs ang na-contract po namin.
650.
650 IAs.
So, on the average, magkano ang contract price?
Well, ang per hectare po namin is bali 100,000 lahat po eh. Yung per hectare. Bali binibili po namin yung palay nila ng 20 pesos ng fresh, yung wet pa po. Sa bukid na namin kinukuha. So yung fresh.
Nag-standard price kayo ng 20 pesos?
Yes.
Lahat?
Lahat po.
And ano yung volume?
40,000.
Standard din or iba-iba? Iba-iba, no? Depende sa size.
Iba-iba po. Opo. May,
Depende sa size.
kasi may 5 metric tons po yung kinukuha namin doon. Pag sumobra siya ng 5 tons, pwede niyang ibenta kahit saan niya gusto yung remaining. Ina-assure lamang po namin doon sa...
Yes, but how it works is per contract, you already tell them kung ano yung volume, right?
Yes, per IA. Per IA po eh. Kasi yung Irrigators Association, kasi hindi naman po eksakto na yung land holding ng isang farmer, ma'am. So ang ginagawa namin para kukunti lang kausap namin, yung kanilang Irrigators Association, ang kausap namin, mag-consolidate sila ng farmers nila, and then sasabihin ni IA sa amin kung ilan yung na-consolidate nila. So yun po yung ikukontrata namin. Bali, ang kausap namin
is just the IA.
Yung sa IA.
Yes, so you had 650 contracts with 650 IAs.
Yes, yes, federated. Opo. Ang IA po, ang farmer nila is, yung 650 na yan is 33,000 farmers.
Yes.
Opo.
And then, so the volume per contract varies. Iba-iba.
Iba-iba po.
Okay. So, in total, as of today, ano yung naging yield nitong 650 contracts? Na-harvest na, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Lahat?
Hindi, meron pang nag-harvest na itong December, no?
But so far, doon sa 650 contracts, ilan na po ang na-harvest?
Wala lang yung data po ngayon, ma'am. But nag-average tayo. Ito kasi yung head, ma'am, eh. Sa 20,000 hectares. Okay. Naka-harvest na daw po kami ng 20, of the 40,000 hectares, naka 50% na daw po.
Naka 50%. Okay. So lahat po sila standard ang contract na upon signing of the contract, they get 50% of the contract amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Ganun po.
Opo.
So straightforward naman yun, no? So 20 pesos times number of kilos
Yes, ma'am.
divided by 2 upfront. You give that payment to the IE.
Yes po. Para
And
sa
then-
mga inputs.
And then, okay, in which case, para lang maintindihan ng mga nakikinig, baka maging interesado sila, in which case, hindi na nangangailangan ang mga farmers na umutang. Tama po ba yun?
Hindi na po, ma'am, kasi sagot namin
Kasi
lahat yung...
nandun na ang puhunan.
Mhm.
And na-monitor niyo po ba sa mga IAs kung talagang hindi na talaga umutang ang mga farmers?
Well, pagdating doon sa
Did they
kanilang
have
input,
to, in short,
hindi na sana. Opo, kasi, but of course, umutang sila doon sa ibang pangangailangan po nila, hindi na po namin...
hindi, yun nga yung
but
tanong
for that-
natin Kasi we
Opo.
want to know if sapat na itong contract terms natin, di ba? I mean, we
Yes.
want to know kung itong pilot natin na contract design ay tama. Kasi ibig sabihin, as we roll this out in a larger scale, gusto natin malaman kung kailangan ba nating palitan ang disenyo. Di ba, ang isang magandang tanong is, kinailangan pa bang umutang pa more ang mga farmers na na-cover nitong contract farming natin? Kasi
Yeah.
syempre, yun ang number one na layunin di ba? O, in-upfront na namin ang puhunan ninyo. Dapat hindi na kayo nangailangan pa umutang.
Well, ma'am, siguro po, Mr. Chair, is that nandito naman yung presidente ng NCIA natin. Bakit hindi po natin tanungin
sige
sa
po,
kanila yung experience para
Mr. Chair,
correct na yan.
Tanungin po natin, Mr. Chair, si Vice Gov, ano po naging karanasan natin sa contract farming?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, actually, ang aming karanasan sa contract farming ay medyo...
I mean, with respect to utang, kung nakikinig po kayo dun sa tanong ko,
hindi na kami umutang sa
hindi na naging sapat naman po.
O naging sapat dahil nandyan na lahat yung aming kinakailangan na inputs.
Okay. Second, siguro follow-up question. May idea po ba kayo kung magkano ang income ng farmers natin?
Ay, yes. Actually, ang ina-expect namin na income per hectare is 100,000. 100,000. So, meron
At dun sa slide, katulad dun sa slide na ni-report ni Admin Gillian.
Tapos, the purpose of that contract farming is to increase the yield. So, ang additional income namin na farmer ay yung excess of 5 tons. Kunyari, may nakakuha ng 120, 150 kabans per hectare. At yung excess of 100 kabans per hectare, the 20 or the 50, we sell it to other...
So kasama po kayo dito sa 50% na nakapag-harvest na.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we harvested already in our...
So based on your actual experience, ang mga farmers ninyo ay nakaranas ng increased
Yes, ma'am.
income.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Nakaranas sila lahat.
May estimate po
At
kayo
saka-
kung ilang porsyento ang increase in income?
60%. 60% yung, 60 from 40 to 60% increase sa yield namin.
In yield, 40
Yes.
to 60%
Yes.
increase in
In
yield.
yield, yes. Kasi hanggang 150 yung aabot namin.
Okay po. Ito pong sinasabi ninyong 29 peso rice na binebenta ninyo sa Kadiwa, tama po? So ito po ay nanggaling sa contract farming natin, tama po?
Yes, ma'am. Tama po.
Ano po nangyaring 29 pesos? So binili nyo at 20.
Yes. Ma'am,
How did it
yes.
happen? Normally, ang computation natin is double. Tama po? Yung
Yes.
pag in-add po natin ang milling, transportation, etc.,
65%.
you add, magiging times 1.65. Parang
Yes, sir.
ganon, di ba? So, magkano yun? So, 20
34.
pesos times 1.65.
34.
33 pesos. So, paano po natin nabenta at 29? Or maybe the 1.6, maybe this includes margin. So, yung 4 pesos na margin, yun ang
As para makita nyo yung sample computation namin, paano kami nag-arrive doon sa figure namin. I-flash lang
But
po niya sa
siguro,
screen.
in a nutshell,
Hindi po, ma'am, ganito po yan eh. Yung kasing iba sa program namin is that ibebenta namin sa NFA. Yung iba sa Rice for All ng DA.
Nakabili ka na ba NFA sa kanya? Ilan?
Yung exact volume po nung palay na nabili namin sa kanila, I don't have it right now, but marami po kami nabili from IAs.
So it's working. You bought it at 29?
23.
Hindi po, kasi itong programa niya, ngayon pa lang po ito. We even bought it as high as 30 at a particular time.
Well, milled rice na.
Hindi po, palay lang po ito.
Paano yan? Paano mo mapababa ang presyo?
Hindi po. Mr. Chair, explain ko lang po. Kasi the NFA
I'm sorry,
Council-
you take the lead.
yes, but that's the question. I mean, from 20 peso palay, paano natin mabibenta at 29? Yun ang tanong eh.
0.65.
So, yes, tama po yung tanong ni Chair. So, yes, Admin Lacson,
Thank you, Mr.
saan
Chair.
po kayo nakakakuha ng murang milling?
Yung sa kanila po, hindi ko po masasagot yun. Yung nabili namin lang sa NFA na yung iba nga, marami din kami nabili from IAs. Ang presyo po kasi namin nung starting April 22, as approved by the NFA Council, is a flexible pricing scheme. Pag clean and dry, we can buy as low as 23 pesos per kilo and as high as 30 pesos per kilo. Depende po sa kalakaran sa merkado. Kumbaga yung mga trader, sinasurvey namin magkano ang presyo, saka kami sasabay, iaangat namin na konti para makabili kami. So, there was a time na ang taas talaga ng buying price ng mga palay traders natin at 30 pesos, hindi kami makasabay noon. And then, nung may patupad nga itong pricing scheme na bagong pricing scheme ng NFA, yun po, siguro mga in a span of less than a month, tigti 30 pesos po karamihan nung binili namin.
So,
Can we go back to...
Wait, just follow up. Admin Lacson, sinasabi po ninyo na 23 pesos ang minimum, but in this case, yung 20 pesos kasi per kilo, masaya na yung mga farmers eh.
For the information of everyone, the Secretary of DA is on his way. He's maybe around already.
Paano
Ma'am,
kaya
yan po
yun?
yung ano,
Diba?
yan
Yung,
po yung-
may 20, parang willing sila to pass it on at 20 pesos, pero ang minimum naman na bilihan ng NFA is 23. Ano pong Admin Lacson?
Po. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Explain ko lang po. Yung 23 to 30 ay clean and dry. Meron po kaming isang kategorya na fresh, yung kaka-harvest pa lang, it's between 17 to 23. Ang nire-refer po yata ni Admin Guillen
for
is
the-
the fresh.
The fresh.
Fresh.
Okay.
So, yun po.
So pasok doon sa Alright, salamat.
Ma'am, ipaliwanag ko lamang po. For example, itong request namin na budget for 6 billion, wala man. Yung 6 billion na po yon, kung kukwentahin mo kasi at 50,000 pesos per hectare, mga 120,000 hectares po yun eh. Pwede bang para may...
Ibalik nyo daw. May I recognize our good friend, Congresswoman Franz Castro. Yes.
Ayan. So, yan po yun, ma'am. So, of the 120,000 hectares na yan at 5 tons na yung kontrata namin, maka-generate kami ng 600,000 metric tons. So, yung palay, ang agreement namin ng RFA, benta namin sa kanila about 23 pesos, that would generate 6.9 billion. Yung kalahati, yung 300,000 metric tons, ipapagiling po namin yon. So, i-assume na lang natin na pag pinagiling namin, makakuha kami ng 50%. Actually, 63% ang NFA. 50% na lang, makakuha po kami ng 150,000 metric tons na bigas na. Yung 75,000 metric tons na bigas, ibebenta namin sa kadiwa ng yung 29 pesos. So, maka-generate kami ng 2.175 billion. Yung another 75,000 metric tons sa Rice for All ng DA, ang initial agreement kasi namin was 45 pesos. So, maka-generate kami ng 3.375 billion. So, yung ma-generate naming fund is 12.450 million. Kung mapansin ninyo, may kita pang 450 million pesos. Ang usapan po kasi namin sa mga IA namin, yung 75,000 na bigas na ibinenta namin sa DA, ay meron silang 6 pesos na share para sa capital build-up nila. So, 6,000 times 6 pesos times 75,000 metric tons is 450 million pesos. Kasi kailangan ng capital build-up ng ating mga cooperatives eh. So, ito, may capital build-up na, nakabenta ka pa ng murang 29 pesos rice. So, sinasabi namin sa NIA, posible ito kasi papaikutin ulit namin yung pera eh. I-revolve mo ulit, ma'am eh. Ang kailangan lang namin talaga is market, which is okay naman kay NFA, okay din naman kay DA, na bumili sa amin. So yung the rest, ibebenta namin ng 29 pesos. So hindi po lahat ng nabili namin ay 29 pesos. About 1/4 of that para maging sustainable po siya.
Kuha mo? That means he is averaging 45 pesos for Rice for All and 29 pesos for the other program. So it is, the average price would be 37.50. That is his real price. Assuming it's 50-50,
Actually po, ma'am, ang talagang target po niyang program na yan ay hindi lamang para mapababa ang presyo ng bigas. Ang number 1 target namin is para ma-convince namin si farmer na ilipat yung cropping calendar. Kasi kung hindi mo, kultura kasi ang pagtatanim sa atin. Ang talagang pagtatanim natin is June, July. Nasabay kasi ang pagtatanim natin ng palay, ng main crop, sa tag-ulan, which is kultura yan eh. Sabi ko, niya kami, may irigasyon kami, ilipat natin sa dry kasi kaya namin patubigan. Hindi po mapasunod yung mga farmers, so kailangan mong programa na ganyan para maipakita mo sa kanila na pag inilipat mo yung cropping calendar, pwede pa din at kikita pa rin sila. Kasi yun, to see is to believe yung mga farmers natin eh. Now, kapag na-attain namin yon, doon na namin mai-increase yung cropping intensity natin. Kasi in our estimate, kapag 2.2 lamang sana ang cropping intensity ng Pilipinas, rice sufficient tayo eh. Nasa 1.6 to 1.8 lamang po tayo. Simply because nagtatanim tayo sa tag-ulan na sisirain ng bagyo. So yung effectivity ng tanim mo, efficiency, walang 1 eh. So ililipat po namin. Yun ang number 1 na purpose niyan. Pangalawa po is to organize yung aming mga farmers into yung economies of scale production para, again, yung utos ng ating Pangulo na makapture nila yung whole value chain. Kasi nga, pag inorganize namin sila, binibigyan na ni PhilMec ng rice, ng farm equipments at rice processing system. So, it's one way of us na i-organize sila at may kita sila. Kasi ang usapan namin ni NFA, ipapagiling yung mga palay na harvest nila doon sa aming mga rice processing system. So, hindi lamang ngayon bebenta ng palay ang aming farmer, kundi bigas para makapture nila yung value added. So maganda po yung program na ito, ma'am eh. Kung,
May I
yes, sir.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am. To add to that, kasi halos 50% of our local production nasa fourth quarter yung harvest, 10 to 11 million ang harvest natin. So, kailangan talaga, ma'am, i-optimize yung production on the dry season. Kasi ngayon, halos 50-50 po. Meaning, talagang iiwas mo is part of the resiliency efforts ng DA with NIA na talagang yung cropping calendar, medyo yung kultura ng pagtatanim, i-adjust. Kasi ang farmer naman, magtatanim kung nandiyan yung tubig. And very critical sa part ng DA, yung planning ng irrigation system, water system management ng NIA. Kaya si Sec natutuwa ngayon kasi ako po ay halos 25 years na sa DA o 21 kasi lumipat po ako sa ibang department. Pero yung coordination po ng DA program ng RISE sa region saka sa Central with NIA ngayon talagang very intimate, kumbaga, without of the proper word. Talaga pong linggo-linggo kami nag-uusap po nila Secretary ni Admin Guillen para po maitama itong talagang malaking challenge to change yung mindset, pero kailangan pong magsimula doon sa science-based naman po yung pinagbabasihan namin dito ng NIA. And isa sa naisip nilang parang carrot na para mapasunod is yung gantong klaseng programa po.
So, in short, coordinated ang DA at NIA sa strategy na to. Okay. Next question. So obviously, ang strategy is to go full irrigation. Tama? Kasi right now, hindi fully irrigated ang lands. Di ba? So, ang supply natin is 13 million metric tons, but that is not on fully irrigated lands. Tama po? It's a mix of fully irrigated and not. Di ba? And so, at that, ang average cost ay 50 pesos per kilo sa merkado. I mean, that's the situation today, right? So, what we want to do is go to a situation where all our supply is being produced on fully irrigated land. Tama po?
A majority, not all. Majority, meaning
Yes.
increase the percentage from the 50% now into 60 to 70%.
And over time, full irrigation, I mean, that's logical.
Yes,
logical
of course.
end, right?
So that you can increase the cropping intensity. You
Yes.
can plant more than once.
Yes,
in a year.
so increase cropping intensity and maximize full irrigation so that ultimately bababa talaga ang presyo ng bigas sa palengke. Tama po?
Tama po, ma'am.
So ano ngayon, based on your, kasi maganda yung data nyo, di ba? Kung ma-achieve natin yon, meaning ma-maximize natin ang cropping intensity at ma-maximize natin ang paggamit ng full irrigation, ano yung pinakamababang presyo ng bigas sa palengke?
Well, kung
Kasi sa ngayon nakikita natin may 29, etc. di ba? Pero mix yun, di ba?
Yes. Mama, sa aming estimate sa ngayon sa ating production ng nasa 37 dapat kung susundan mo yung ano namin.
37?
Nasa 37 pesos per kilo dapat.
37?
37.
Sorry?
37, ma'am.
37 pesos sa ngayon, di ba? But that's a situation of hindi pa tayo umaabot sa cropping intensity na gusto natin
at saka irrigation.
at full irrigation. Di ba po?
Yes, ma'am. As you can see, yung aming kasing program, hindi, yung yield, ma'am eh. Kung napansin natin yung statement ng NCIA President, tumaas kasi yung yield eh. Yan ang isang key kasi para mapababa mo yung presyo. So, yung ginawa namin kasi pag dinilipat namin sa dry season, automatic pong tataas ang yield. Kasi dry eh. Maaraw po, ma'am eh.
O sige po, siguro baka mahirap yung tanong ko. Pwede po ba mag-pencil pushing kayo? At yun ang gusto natin ma-simulate, di ba? Kasi may mga pangarap tayo umabot sa 20 pesos, etc. Pero how will we get to that level if it will entail cropping intensity of this much and to reach X% of lands na fully irrigated, at least we need to know kung ano yung target na yon. Tama po ba? Kasi kung makita natin na over 100% pala needed to get to a certain price level, ay imposible pala, right? But kung nakita natin based on our simulations, it is less than 100%, ay talaga palang very, very attainable. Yun naman ang gusto natin makita kasi maganda kasi yung ginagawa ninyo, di ba? Kaya lang siguro hindi nyo lang po pinupush yung simulations nyo towards what we want to know. So kung pwede po, based on what you know today and based on your pilot experience, pwede nyo po bang lalo pang tignan ito? So sa next po natin na pagkikita, pwede nyo po bang i-report yan? And one last question. Ito medyo philosophical. Ano po ba talagang ibig sabihin ng rice self-sufficiency? Kasi necessary po ba na lahat ng kainin natin na bigas ay itanim natin? Kasi po, hindi po ba, at the end of the day, ang gusto natin is food security. Makakain lahat tayo sa murang presyo. At alam naman po natin na may mga bansa na blessed, katulad ng Vietnam at Thailand, na meron silang river deltas, etc., na likas po na mataba ang lupa sa tabi ng kanilang mga ilog. Tayo po walang ganyan. Of course, merong mga teknolohiya na pwedeng mag-substitute for the absence of those river deltas. Pwede naman. So, kaya lang, that may come at a very high price. And therefore, baka magmahal ang pag-produce ng bigas. So, kailangan balansehin. Di po ba? So, yun ang tanong ko lang. Baka, are we obsessing over something that is so expensive? Pero at the end of the day, kasi pag ako ay pupunta sa palengke, chinecheck ko, ang tao naman po talaga, naghahanap lang talaga ng mura at magandang bigas. Hindi naman po nila tinatanong, saan po bang farm galing yan? Hindi naman po sila nagdi-discriminate kung saan galing yan. As long as maganda at mura, yun ang bibilhin natin. So yun po, it's a question na, possibly a policy question, anong ibig sabihin ng rice self-sufficiency in the context of food security?
Okay, ma'am. Kung daw muna, siyempre. Para sa akin, ma'am, mas mahalaga sa akin yung food security. Dahil, pag masyadong mahal yung isang bagay, pwede mo namang i-outsource as long as may pambili ng tao, di ba? So kung sa food security kasi, para sa akin, that would mean na yung ating mga farmers ay instead na say pilitin natin magbigas, magtanim ng high value crops at kumita, meron siyang pambili ng pagkain ng rice kung yun ang At halimbawa nagtanim siya ng high value crops, kung mas kumita siya rito, bibili siya sa merkado ng rice, mas may maiwi pa rin siyang pera. Mas mahalaga po sa amin yon, sa NIA part. But of course, kailangan din natin kasi magtanim ng, maging yung rice sufficiency natin. Baka wala naman tayong mabili kasi sa ibang bansa para naman tayo, di ba? Kaya pinagsisikapan din ng NIA yon. So both naman po ina-address natin. Yung maging food secure at maging may rice sufficiency tayo. Kung pwede nga lang, i-attain natin parehas yan eh. So, yun po ang aming
okay na yan.
direksyon.
Now, can I ask Asis to answer the question?
Yung pong food security naman talaga ay pwedeng ma-attain by combining both local production and importation. And of course, the factor that will be considered is the cost. We are quite agreeable to that. And that's why the DA is not pushing for 100% self-sufficiency. But to the extent that we can develop what remains to be developed, and we can, to the extent that when we can put capitalize on those areas that can be capitalized efficiently and economically, then we'll push for that. So nakikita po naman natin sa ngayon, marami pa kasi tayo talagang lugar na hindi nalagyan ng tamang kapital. At yun po yung hinihingi namin. Dagdagan natin yung kapital, of course, when we're talking about capital here, we're talking about both the public and private capitalization that we have to push for. And so that number, we're still looking at the sweet spot. That's why we have several models that we're trying to attain that. Kasi medyo, to be quite honest, hindi naman natin naranasan na umabot ng 100% eh. And so it's a trial. But we are looking at certain models, and the model that is being shown right now by NIA seems to be promising. Kasi yung pong model po na yun talaga is actually not the real intention, and I appreciate very much the explanation of Administrator Guillen, that it's not really the contract farming. The contract farming is a tool to change behavior. It is not the end in itself. The end is to change the behavior of farmers to shift to a better farming process or practice, which will provide us with better yield. So yun po yung maganda nga po yung model na ito, at we are very thankful that we're given a chance to explain this further, and we're looking forward to support of Congress for this particular model. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
I don't know. Stella, you're okay?
Interjection lang. Kasi the total project itself, yung contract farming is about 120,000 hectares. Yung target natin is about 3 million hectares. This is just a little bit, 4% of the entire. When do you expect and how do you expect to do this? Yung timeline natin para at least more or less naintindihan natin. Achievable ba to in the next 5 years? Or probably in the next 10 years? So, baka we're creating hope, but at the end of the day, it's not achievable.
Well, Sir Ola, again, let's give the credit where credit is due. Nagpapasalamat ka ako kay Speaker, pinakinggan kami dito eh. Napasok lang yung budget na ito sa BICAM ng 2024 eh. Nakita niya yung ipinapaliwanag ko sa kanila. Ito yung program na maganda. Talagang all-in support siya. So nasimulan ito. Totoo po kayo, maliit lamang po ito. Pero dahil kinalat po namin lahat ito sa buong region, we hope na ito pong maliit na butil na ito, yung seed na ito, ay magpapakita sa ating mga farmers. Gaya ng nasabi ko po na sumunod doon sa tamang cropping calendar dapat. So, ngayon naman po marami ng yung maliit na project na yon, nakakuha na kami ng 350,000 hectares ngayon na susunod doon sa tamang cropping calendar. So that would mean around 1.7 million metric tons na additional po na production natin for next year. Kasi additional po ito eh. Parang added, lang namin ito eh, added doon sa cropping intensity natin eh. Now, kung ito po ay patuloy na susuportahan ninyo sa Kongreso, may pagpapatuloy po natin until such time na makita ng mga farmers natin yung ating total objective. At tandaan po natin, ito ay hindi lamang para itaas yung cropping intensity at yield ng ating mga magsasaka, kundi nagagamit po namin ito sa pagbuo ng may economies of scale na production sa kanila. Kasi nga tama rin po kayo yung segregated na po yung mga lupa natin eh. Pero kung nabuo natin po ulit ito through contract farming, through block farming, kung ano man tawag natin, so cooperativism, magtudulot po ito ng mas magandang resulta po sa ating kinabukasan ng ating mga magsasaka. Yung maliit na butil na ipinunla ng Kongreso noon na ilang hectares lang, ngayon 300 this year for 2025 may additional na tayong 350,000 hectares doon po sa maliit na itinanim po natin. So umaasa po tayo kasi sa NIA 1.2 million hectares eh. Nasa susunod pang mga taon mas marami po tayong ma-convince. And salamat din po sa tulong ninyo. Kasi ang pinakamadali po talaga na itaas natin yung ating number of hectares na pataniman ay yung pong solar ano talaga solar pump irrigation. Kasi pag itayo namin yan, 3 months to 1 year lamang. At tandaan po natin, ang ROI natin dyan, nasa 3 years lamang po. So habang inihintay natin yung mga long-term projects natin ng mga high dams, at least meron po ito kayong programa na magbe-bridge doon sa gap ng ating kailangang hectare. So, ililipat natin yung cropping calendar, ma-increase yung cropping intensity, at the same time, dinadagdagan natin yung construction ng irrigation facilities na tinatanaman po natin. Thank you po.
Salamat, Chair.
Mag-interject lang daw si...
Ano question?
Question din.
Mr. Chair, do we have a resource person from LGUs?
Wala, unfortunately.
Sila po.
Pero si pala, LGU.
Opo. Kasi we have LGUs, then the DA and NIA. Kasi dapat po siguro mag-usap kayo kung meron pa ba talagang pang-agriculture na lupa tayo dito. Kasi ang nangyayari po, we only have limited resources. So kung meron pong municipality o provinces or city na talagang engage sa agriculture farming, siguro doon po natin i-maximize yung limited resources that we have. Kasi real talk po, ang LGU sometimes, hindi na sila nakafocus sa farming for agricultural purposes. Kasi makikita po natin yung development, nababago po yung focus po nila . Let's say, halimbawa, magre-request po sila ng project, infrastructures project po. So, iaayos po natin yung kalsada for easy flow of commerce for the farmers. Mabilis para sa kanila yung kalakal, makarating po sa merkado. Pero after 1 or 2 years, makikita po natin, commercial area na, housing na, warehousing na. Pero yung limited resources that they requested, nagamit po doon. So siguro real talk tayo. I-identify po natin talaga kung meron pa ba tayong agricultural land that is intended for farming. So kung meron po, siguro doon po natin ibuhos yung resources that we have. Like yung sa sinasabi po natin na machineries po natin, yung fertilizers po natin, and the availability of loans para po sa farmers, siguro doon po natin ilagay. Kasi we don't blame the LGUs . That is additional income on their part, additional employment on their part. Pero yung farming na yung po ang ating intention, yung food security for the Filipinos in 10 or 10 years from now, yun ang focus po natin . So mag-real talk tayo. Kasi yung sa land bank, yung sinasabi po ninyo na very limited lang yung loan for farmers. Kasi that's one of the ways para gipitin mo ang farmers. Ibenta na niya sa investors . Kaya wala na pong sake. Nasa investors na. At makikita nyo housing na. Subdivision na. Commercial area na po. So bakit masasabi mo yung province na yon, cities na yon, o municipalities, sir, that is for farming na? Hindi na po siya . In denial na po siya . Kinukuha na lang po niya limited resources that we have para po dun sa ganung focus na nila. So dapat real talk, i-identify po natin talaga kung anong city, municipalities, and province na talagang interested at baka kailangan lang po ay sustainability on the part of the government.
Thank you.